Welcome back to another episode on the Create mod. In the last episode, we worked fully outside and made this train track that goes all the way around up along the mountain, stopping at a train station that will eventually be up here in this area, and then coming back down, connecting back up with this train track across the double bridge that we made and back into the main train station. We also dug out a little bit of this under track crossing area that we will get to today. With that, we need to build a building around this thing. I know I said in the stream that I did last weekend that I wanted to be able to see the barn area from over here still with a big building in the way. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I kind of want to try it, but if it doesn't work out, then too bad, it doesn't work out. I do have a plan for this, but we need some materials, and somehow I don't have everything in the game yet when, like, you can make a farm for, like, literally everything. So we got to work on that, but this is going to be a pretty important block, as well as sand, which we do have a bajillion of. So at least we have sand, but we need to go grab some mango trees, and maybe we do that automatically. Like if we build another one of these or just throw another one in here, I think that might just be what we do. Or we can actually go and grab some. I don't have any propagules. Oh, that's not good. I think that's because automatically farming the mangrove doesn't drop enough propagules for it to actually work. So I guess we're going into another mangrove forest. We got to go get some mangrove. So let's go do that. And you thought you were done listening to my voice? Absolutely not. I'm in your ears. I'm everywhere. Don't click off the video, please. I will stop doing that. I wanted to talk about quickly how awful mangrove is to gather. This is the worst wood in the world. You have to dig through all the bushes and stuff. You get like one mangrove log every 40 leaves. The propagules are like hard to find because they just float on everything, and that's super annoying. So it's like a challenge to get. They all fall in the water. Like without the jetpack, it would be impossible to do this at any rate. Like if I had to use an elytra to get back up to the top of these things, it would be over for me. So I am complaining about that really heavily. And after this, I get probably 6 stacks of logs, and it took like an hour and a half or something stupid. So I'm annoyed that this took me this long, and I didn't even get enough to finish the build, but we'll get into that later. Now onto the build. Uh-oh, more bad news. I forgot to record a transition, so insert that here. And this time lapse chat, I wanted to talk about kind of my design process for this. I super duper just fully yoinked the color palette and most of the windows from a Reddit post that I saw about a train station that I thought looked dope. That centerpiece there with like the mangrove arch and then the clock in the center is different. That was a me design, which is why it is uglier than the rest of the build. But I really liked the design from Reddit that I stole, so thank you very much. Super cool use of fence gates and stuff for like the trim around the building. I really like that. And then the roof was an interesting one. I wanted a lot of glass, but also glass looks horrible, so I threw a bunch of mangrove trapdoors on basically every surface, and I really think that made it look pretty good. And then this front part here and the roof, I really liked the addition of. I think it adds quite a bit of like gothicness to it, which is like my favorite style ever, so I'm glad that it actually fit, and I think it looks dope from the front. You can also see that I decided to change my mind fully and make this a bunch smaller, so that took a ton of extra time, so oopsie daisies. And then we started working on the arches and a little bit of detail work, and I feel like you see these like arches over the train tracks themselves quite a bit in real train stations, just to like fit the trains in there. So I'm glad that was able to work out. And then we moved over to a little bit more detailing, and we're done. And there we go. The train station is built, at least the outside. The inside, I did a little bit. There's some trapdoors up at the top there, but we have to build a second set of walls here. So that'll take a little minute to get that set up and going. But we have the main outside of the entire train station done. The roof, I think, is the coolest part. Like this thing is like dope. A great idea to include this. And then I really like these like little spiky boys. I think the spiky boys are sweet. And then the other side here, I was struggling, as you saw in the time lapse, and as I talked about, I was struggling with getting this thing working. So I just made it flat, and we're gonna have like the terraforming. I'm on the fence still if I want to do the same style of terraforming over on this side. I assume I will. But we're going to have terraforming coming up here with a bunch of custom trees and stuff. So I suspect this will get busier later on in the series. And then like the final bit was this archway. And I think this turned out pretty cool. We do need to add some like more flooring there, but that'll come with more terraforming here. So I'm not too worried about that. Big thank you to the Reddit user Enzo Fresh for the inspiration. I did kind of yoink the vibe pretty much fully. So I appreciate that. I did do something different with this center bit here because I kind of had to, but the color palette and most of the windows and stuff was just straight up yoinked. So thank you. It's a very good design. I think it's really cool looking. I also, halfway through, realized that I needed way more mangrove than I could ever imagine. And as you can see here, I set up a tree farm, but as we learned a majillion episodes ago, the propagules don't grow fast enough before we chop them down again. So I needed to make a quick little propagule farm, which I built over here. And this thing is honestly pretty tiny. It just has a bunch of dispensers bone mealing the propagule, and then one dispenser bone mealing the leaf block. The leaf block, when bone mealed, will spawn, as you can see there, a propagule, and then all the others will bone meal it, and then this piston will push it off, and it'll fly everywhere because for some reason the hopper thing that I tried didn't work. Like you wanted a hopper minecart in between this piston and a block here, but that just did not work at all. So I'll have to figure something else out for that. But for now, once you turn it on, it just makes a boatload of them. Like it's really quite quick. So I just had like 500 or so, and now it's out of bone meal. It burns through bone meal, but it is really quick. And I AFK'd the bone meal farm overnight for a while, but we did get enough propagules to actually finish the farm, which is really all that I cared about. And I think we have over 1,000 logs extra, so that is pretty good. And I've also switched up this thing to just fully plant these mangrove propagules. This isn't the most efficient way to do it because these mangrove roots spawn a bunch of places. It overwrites where the propagules are, but honestly, I don't really care. So this is the new-ish farm, and it obviously is working pretty good. We have like 16,000 of all the other wood types, so I don't really care about keeping those running. So we're just going to have the propagules running for a little bit. But now I think it's a good time to switch over to the interior of this place. It is currently looking pretty bare. I don't know what the plan is going to be for the inside walls. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these sand ones the same, and then have a like interior wall texture here, just so that these glass things aren't just floating in open space like that. And this is what I've come up with so far. I'm using these vertical framed panels here to get a little bit of extra depth, and then we're just doing a normal kind of arch with the same window underings as out there. The only issue that I'm running into is that this one looks mis-centered, and I think that's because we have like a tall thing of mangrove planks here, or mangrove logs, but we don't have that here, so it feels like it's mis-centered. So I'm going to try these framed double slope blocks, which you can, if I have a good 2 different pieces of wood, you can put wood or sandstone on one half of the wall, and then the wood on the other half. So we can hopefully do like mangrove on this side and then stripped birch logs on this side, and it will just go all the way up, and it'll look like we have 2 blocks on either half of the wall, but we actually don't. So I'm going to hope that that is how that works. But I think we'll see really quickly if that is how it works. The only issue with this strategy is that these mangrove logs are expensive, and I need to strip them beforehand. So if we put mangrove on this side, yup, and then birch on that side, that's gonna, oops, excuse me, that's gonna work really well, I think. And then we can just keep bringing that up. I want to do sand here, and then again, mangrove. Yeah, that's gonna look really nice. At least I think it will. I don't know for sure. But let's try to bring that all the way up, and then we'll see how it looks. The moment of truth, that is better. That is a little bit more what I was looking for. And then let's also do the same thing up here, because I forgot about this. We have this area where there's just trapdoors in front of sandstone, but over on the glass side, it just looks stupid. So let's fix that as well. And there we go. We have sandstone on this side, mangrove on this side. Nobody is any the wiser. And now the other side's fixed. Sweet. I'm really liking these framed double slope blocks. They're very helpful. So now I suppose let's get these arches, and I really like the extra depth here. So including the extra depth all the way down. And then we're definitely going to need to do something here and on the side as well. I have zero plans for this. Maybe double-sided clock, but probably not, since we would need what? So clockwork bearing on this block, and then the hour hand here, and then the minute hand here. So it would be sticking out onto the tracks. So that wouldn't be that helpful. We could do one maybe on the other side there, because there's a little indent. Oh, I thought there was. Oh, wow, I got by depth perception and colors and stuff. That got me so bad. That's cool. Maybe we could do a clock here, but maybe we just do some cool, like, art thingy that you would normally see in train stations. But let's start out with just the arches and get those in and looking good. And that is now done. The archways are all in, and honestly, this, compared to this actually looks kind of like a train station. I've also added in this archway thing here. My only concern is that it blends in too much. So I'm going to try to see if birch will work here. I kind of doubt it. And if it doesn't work, then I think we'll just do some like hanging chandelier type of things in the center here. And that should add just a little bit of entertaining things in the way here so that it won't look too horrible. For this side, I am not 100% sure what I want to do, since obviously like this area is going to be like blocked off. There's going to be like a wall here because most people, well, everyone will have to go down to be able to go across the tracks. So there's not really a point in having stuff over here. What we could do maybe is a like service door or something that can access this other half of the train station area, which could be something that we do. But I'm going to quickly try birch for the archway here, and then continue these archways up until this point here. And then maybe we work on this big blank wall area and hope that that makes it look good. And we've gotten a little bit more progress here with the arches. I do think the birch looks way better. It like actually accentuates the curves, and I feel like makes even the red of the mangrove stand out more, which is kind of interesting. And then I also tried out a little sandstone beam here. The design was from a Green video from however long ago. And I think that actually looks pretty okay. So I'm using this, and honestly, hold on. Can I? Oh, I can. What? I think that is good. Maybe. The real reason I wanted this here is because we need to be able to power this clockwork bearing. So I'm thinking we have a shaft go out this way, and then like over and into that little hole and down underground. I don't know if that's going to be doable given the space that we have, but I am going to hope that it is. Oh, and I've also redone the archway here. It's still not great. I'm still not a huge fan of it. I feel like it just needs to be taller. So maybe we work on this slightly. But I think it is better than the mangrove one here, and I think it fits the more sandstone-y vibe on the bottom bit, which I think is why the mangrove didn't really work. But I think maybe I try to make it a little bit taller and see how that goes. Don't have a ton of faith, but I think the rest of like this clock area is good, and then once we get the archway, that outside will be good, and then we need to figure out some sort of design to put here. And then for this upper bit, I'm not too worried about it, because once we have a design here, it should be easy to kind of copy over something that works here. But I think we'll see if I can actually do that. To the drawing board we go. And I figure out a pretty cool idea here. First of all, for the arch, boom, a little bit taller, because the biggest issue we were having is that this beam was just too flat for the arch that was right above it. So I just made like a little scooty uppy bit, added some walls, and called it a day. On the other side here, I really liked how this turned out. We got like some wacky circly thingies, some beams here, maybe a way to power this clockwork bearing. We'll see. And then up here, super cool design that I used these framed slab edges. So they're like a quarter of a stair. So like they're this part of this stair block only. So we got some lightning bolts, a little eye thingy, and some more lightning bolts. And I think it looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like a face, but that's not my problem. And then behind me, the same thing. It's a copy. I also did a little bit of work. We added some benches every like 2 or so rows. I think I'm going to do maybe like a tree, like one of those little potted plant things where you got like one of these with like trapdoors around it and like 2 bushes above it. I'll do those in this area here along with on the other side. And then way down here, I got started working on the underground area. You can see I transitioned from birch to oak and have a little bit of jungle wood in here. I don't know if you've been in these like more underground, like crossing between train track areas. They are so disgusting. So I thought I'd bring that with the jungle wood in here. The jungle wood just looks like mold, and I think that really ties it in pretty well. So I'm going to go with this kind of vibe. We're going to do stone for the ceiling. We might throw in like some mud and other things for potential rust, maybe some tuff. I think tuff would actually look really good here, because it would make it look mossy. And then I don't know what I'm doing yet for the floor. Maybe we go the same thing as the ceiling, like a tough stone combo. And then we got to get in some of these displays. We're not going to be able to link them up just yet, but I will want to in the future have like a train stop here, train stop over there, and have the display ready so that like train numero uno is coming to this stop and it's going to be here in 4 minutes or whatever. And I want to have that displayed on the tracks that make sense. So for this side, I'm going to want this train track here. So on the train tracks on the right hand side, the one that's going to be going up to the barn, to be on this half of the display board, and then it's going to be like a double-sided one, hopefully. I don't know if I can actually do that. And on this side, we have stuff for this train track, because if you're coming from this side, you're coming from this track, so you don't really care about what's on this track. You care more about what's going to be on this track over here. We might just have to do a display board here and call it a day. I don't know if we can do a double-sided one, but that'll be my goal. And then we might also have a display board here and on the other side as well. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I think so far it is looking good. We need to finish off this down below area, and then I got to start working on what we're doing here, because we have the outside archway. I think the archway looks cool and is going to work, but we need to stop all of these like warning track things from continuing this way, because then they'll get hit by a train. And then we got to figure out what to do here. And that's going to take at least a minute of thinking, which is too much thinking for me. So let's get continuing, I guess not started, on this bottom area here. And we've now done that. The underground bit is done, except for the display boards, which we'll get in later. I haven't hooked up any of the train stations, so we can't really do display boards yet. So we'll do that probably next episode. But the build itself is done. I think it looks, the walls look just like the worst thing to walk next to. Like it looks like they'd be sticky, which is horrible. And then we did throw in some tuff. I used some mud bricks here. I think that's a good kind of combination between the jungle and the oak. And it makes it kind of feel like that used to be the color of the walls, and then it got lighter and whatever color this is, and like the brick got swept away or something. So I think it looks super cool, and it's just a pretty simple ceiling, simple floor. Now we have to work on the final little bit here, and I'm gonna do a time lapse so that you don't have to hear my voice anymore and you can just relax and watch the last little bit of this giga build. By the way, can't believe I'm gonna finish this in one episode. That is crazy. I hope you liked the ton of progress that I made, cause oh my god, my brain hurts. But here we go. Final little build of the episode. Don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll figure it out on the fly. So let's go. And the interior is done. I think it looks pretty cool. I was a little bit struggling on how to finish off this area because there's like so much room. I was wondering maybe we could do like a maintenance tunnel thing, which is kind of the whole reason why I have these like little pillar things. I think they're like cool scaffolding things. There's not really a point other than I needed these nether brick walls to connect to a block, but having it be like the normal building block would make it so that this archway made no sense. So I was like, why not? We have a little bit of scaffolding, tells a little bit of a story that may be crumbling or something like that. And I think it actually makes it look pretty cool. Ties together the iron metally of the floor, the gray stones of the wall with a bit of a story and kind of makes it make sense. And then over here, oh, excuse me. Over here, I had no idea what to do. And then I was like, I can choose what I want in here. I want something so simple, so easy. I remember that there are these shipping containers. I just threw a couple down, put in some boxes for storage, some itty bitty shipping containers, called it a day, threw some vertical slabs and whatever these fence gates up on the wall here, and it's done. Oh, excuse me. And I think it looks good. I also think it makes sense kind of story-wise that these arches are only going to be here for the places that people are actually walking, and the fact that there's going to be no supports on this archway here, like that you can't have an arch going when there's no support area there. So I think that turned out really well, and I think it kind of adds a different vibe of area, because like obviously the pedestrian area is going to be a little bit more put together, safer, and then over here you got workers. Nobody cares about employees, so just like don't give them an arch, don't give them any roof support. If it collapses, whatever, you kill a few employees and that's fine. But I think this works out really well. You also saw that I added a couple of little tree boys in between the benches. Like I said, I just used standard oak with these reinforced or heavy oak trapdoors, which is just the spruce like flavor with oak coloring. And I think that looks dope. This thing is done. This is easily the most progress I've ever made in one episode. I don't think I've built a whole building in one episode. I mean, the roof and then the chimneys on this one took 3 episodes total. I haven't done the interior for this one. And this one was half finished until I did a stream. So, yeah, this is the first ever build on my channel that is giga and that I've done in one episode. I mean, even my starter house, I had like 4 stripped oak pillars for 5 episodes. Like I tore down an entire mountain before I built my starter house. So this is a crazy amount of progress. I did the interior. The interior looks sick. We are ready for a working train that I'm gonna get in next episode and have it at least stop up there. We haven't made the train station up there. That's gonna take so long. We have so much left to do. So stick around if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, because nobody's subscribed to me and nobody has their notifications turned on. So make sure you do both of those. And if you liked the video, be sure to like. And I will see you all in the next episode. Peace.